So, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and girls, nerds, weebs, and otaku, welcome back and welcome home.
Hello there, Applebites. This is your Applebite, Written Writ Ralph, talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. And today we have a plethora of guests showing up to hang out, talk geek, have fun. Folks, this is going to be the show. Right? We have Jeff and Austin here hanging out with us on The Written Writ. And of course, our guest host today is Frank DiStefano. And you guys are busy because I see all the projects you guys are working on, and I'm like just amazed. I gotta say, Austin, let's start off with you. Well, let's tell the people who you are and all the good things. Give them the spiel. Go for it.
All right, I'm Austin McKinley. I'm a writer, artist, creator of Riot Force is my current project. It's a 300-page full-color graphic novel, action, adventure, comedy, nonsense, nostalgia, subverting tropes. It's based on the comic I was creating when I was 9 years old, and now I'm bringing it to life in just a ridiculous, semi-professional way on Kickstarter. I've my history in comic books, I've done a lot of work with SourcePoint Press.
We love SourcePoint Press here.
I just recently did Blaze You Dead Homie as a one-shot comic book. And this is my personal creator-owned passion project, full of silliness. I've been working on it for about the past 3 years. It's all traditionally hand-drawn ink and paper, and I did the colors as well. And it's super exciting. We launched yesterday. We met our funding goal in under 8 hours.
Not bad. That's pretty good.
That's really and now good. We're just trucking.
Yeah, anytime you can get it in under 8 hours or under 24 hours, it's always an amazing feat. You know, it's people think these Kickstarters are easy. They're not easy, folks. Not at all.
No, I've been a part of a number of them before, but this is the first one I've done by myself, and you know, the extra pacing is is real.
Oh yes, it is. And I gotta say though, you got funded, which means that you don't get to do that anxiety striven bunch of days where you're just like fun.
Right. No, we are gratefully able to focus on some stretch goals and finding, you know, like reaching beyond the friends and family audience. So yeah, I mean, you know, I've had certainly a lot of people help me. Dirk Manning was a huge support to me in this process.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's been a friend of the project since I finished the Mystery Tales of Volume 5, Tales of Mystery Volume 5 graphic novel with him. And, you know, then when I said, you know, I think this is going to be my next project, he's like, cool. And he really sort of helped me shape it into something that is viable commercially, which is my issue.
That's the hard part. People think it's easy. I know they look at like Kickstarters and go, "Oh my God, look, I can just make money."
Sure. Well, and there's always a vast difference between, what you think is cool and what is meaningful to you and what anybody else, as a uninitiated audience member is going to care about, and so that's sort of been the leap is, how do you take this thing that people ought to just love because you love it, right?
Yep.
But they've never heard of it before. They have complete novelty aversion.
There's a lot more prep work for a Kickstarter than people realize, too.
Absolutely.
You really got to get your math right, because if you don't get it right, then you're out of your own pocket, which you were trying to avoid in the first place by doing a Kickstarter.
Right.
Completely true. Completely true. That's why we like to say to tell people here all the time, when these indies are doing these Kickstarters, they're actually putting their heart and souls out there to make sure that they complete this book. And I always say the same thing. Nobody's making any money here. Maybe the big guys make money, but all the indie creators, all they're trying to do is make the next book.
Totally.
Breaking even.
Or just cover their printing bill, like if we measure this in terms of lost wages, I'm never going to be in the black, but I want to bring this to people. I want them to have a book at the end of it, and the Kickstarter will help me do that. So. Well,
you did a great job. I love the colors. They really pop. It has a nice animated feel to it. It has that fun feel of 90s, 2000s cartoons.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it does. The artwork, like Ralph was saying, the artwork, the coloring, the drawings. Yeah, it's definitely something from the time that everybody grew up in the 80s and 90s. You could just tell it has that kind of look like that. You did a great job with that, man.
Thank you. I had an interesting story about palette and authenticity, right? So I was part of a project doing brand new games for the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
Ooh.
Right? Ooh. So this is hardware-based cartridge playable games for the old gray box. People still make them. You can flash it to a cartridge. You can play it on original hardware. This was the project. And the thing that sort of stuck in my mind was when we were showing this game off, people would come by and go, "Oh, I know that's a NES game because I recognize the 64 color palette." Like there's something subliminal that happens when you see the colors.
Definitely.
That you're like, I know that's the real deal, right? So I was like, okay, I'm doing that for the comic. Like it's CMYK colors. That's the deal. I'm not going to do anything that couldn't theoretically have been done with the traditional color separation process. It's more rendered than that, but it's all like 25% increments of CMYK. And whenever I go to the printer, they're like, "Yes, thank you. Somebody, this is going to look good."
And it does. The colors are beautiful. They're striking. It's a lot of fun. You don't see stuff like this anymore.
No, definitely not.
At least
there's a lot of guys. I mean, it's sad to say, but it's kind of a lost art of that interface with, what do these numbers mean when it goes to the actual printer? Like, what I see on my screen may or may not represent the actual product when it goes to the printer. Using a palette that the printer is going to be able to handle is part of the game. And in my opinion, if your end goal is print. If you're doing a webcomic, by all means, do whatever looks good on the screen.
But it's so funny though, because webcomics work better when they do what you're doing right here.
To some degree, I mean, like there are some things that if you're looking at it on a screen, it might be a little more garish than it is intended to print. The flip side of that is, it looks amazing and subtle and wonderful on screen, and you go to print it and it's a dark, muddy mess.
I've seen it before where sometimes the digital looks way better than the print.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. I gotta say, I like your pricing here. I feel like you're keeping it affordable for people to just pick up. Because we see a lot of
That's
books.
tricky. I mean, you know,
usually
it's
like
all
$5.
relative. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. Saying I see a lot of books that are usually like $65.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe it's too low.
No, I feel like $50 is just right. You know, anytime I think of a graphic novel, I'm like, yeah, $50 sounds good, especially for a Kickstarter.
And it's not, you know, like a 5-issue graphic novel either. There's 11 issues worth of material in there. It's a fat book.
Even better. Always like a good T-shirt, so I like this. I saw that you were saying like in the description up there that, you know, this, you can see a lot of the GI Joe that you're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
The you know, it feels like it. It doesn't. It's not completely it, but you know, you get that feel of, oh, okay, GI Joe.
Sure. And hopefully, you know, the reading experience I would like you to have is all the fun and internal conflict of enjoying GI Joe.
That's a good goal, man. That's a very good goal. You gotta love it. Love the stretch goals. Love the book. I like what you're doing here. I feel like you know, it looks deceptionally simple, but it's not.
That's the hope. I would like to slip in under someone's radar of, you know, this looks like it isn't gonna challenge me in any way, and oh, now I have feelings. Now I'm engaged with these characters, and you know, stuff is happening to them that I'm not sure how I feel about, and you know, like, I mean, I'm not trying to pull the rug out from under anyone, but I do want a complex reading experience.
Well, the fun is that sometimes the funnest things have the most complexity to it. So,
Sure.
and that's when you do that balance where you're like, okay, I did some good here. much good. All right, Jeff, why don't you tell the people who you are, what you do, all that good stuff? Give them the spiel. Go for it.
All right. Trying to go too long to do a lot of things. So my name's Jeff. I've been doing art as Bleeding Edges for a long time, and when I started doing pins and stuff, I went as BXE Buttons. I started doing it probably back in like 2016. Like, it's been going for a while, and I was doing it just myself and my wife Stacia's. We're both graphic designers, and she saw what I was doing, and she was like, I kind of want to make a pin now. So now we have equal number of pins at this point. I think her style is kind of different from mine, and it just kind of diversifies like what we can offer. Like, she had done a Mothra pin a couple of years ago, and I was like, well, now you're doing a bunch of Godzilla pins. Like, I'm not touching this. This is you now. You know, we just have different styles when it comes to like illustration and stuff like that. And it's just been a really fun, like, creative outlet, because when you're a graphic designer, you do stuff for clients all the time, and sometimes it's just not cool. So here we get to make whatever we want, you know, and now we know how to make whatever we want. So we're just going crazy with it. So it started with enamel pins, it moved into patches, then stickers were pretty easy from there. We've done screen printed tea towels, shirts, pennants, and then I started getting into vinyl toy making. My first vinyl toy was a Kickstarter funded burrito, which I don't have with me, of course, but it's a burrito bear toy, and that was the first one I did. And then the second one was Dr. Plagueland, which I have, which is a Plague Dr. Penguin. Oh, there it is. This was Kickstarter
That's
funded
cool.
within, I don't know, 2 days. It was awesome because then I didn't have to care anymore.
Hold on, let me put you up. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, sure. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's
Plague
really
Dr. Penguin.
Yeah. Dr. Plagueland. And then I did another Kickstarter with the hubris of, oh, it was funded in 2 days. This will be easy. And I did a Kickstarter for this Halloween cat. This is
I love the cat.
And it didn't fund. But, you know, I asked a few people, like, what did I do wrong? Like, what could I do better? And, like, they were all sort of like, you know, everything seemed right. Like, it was a good price. Like, you had everything organized, just weird timing. So I just, screw it. So I just funded it myself. And this is coming in October in time for Halloween.
That's what I like is when the creator takes it into their own hands, goes, oh, well, look, man, I wanted to put it over there with you guys, just so you guys can help me out with this. But either way, this is gonna happen.
Well, what it really came down to was if the Kickstarter went through, I would get the funding in time to have it for the following Halloween, like production time wise. And then when it failed, I was like, well, I can't really afford it right now. And then it came to the following year around that time, and I was like, it's go time, let's do it. So, real Hail Mary, but it's possible I'll get a test pull at 5 points, maybe. I don't know. My vinyl guy's going to be there, and I was like, if it arrives, bring it. If not, don't. But
I love the color version you have of this. Even though it looks pretty good like this,
it's still packaged with my stuff from the weekend. So
I had a feeling. I was like, I know why he's not showing it, because it's probably all still packaged up, ready to go for the next con.
For sure. I'll have it at 5 points. You can see it then. But yeah, my idea is just to paint them like obviously orange and black, but I want to do like a glow in the dark too. But we're not there yet.
Oh, I can just see that thing in glow in the dark, man.
Yeah. When I did the Kickstarter, I offered it in fully painted and glow unpainted, like a little cheap. But Kickstarter didn't fund, so you don't get shit. Oh, sorry.
I think I cursed already. So wait, let me ask you this, because I know like we were talking about before, Kickstarters are just this beast, and
it's not free money like people assume it is.
Exactly, it takes many factors, it takes many things, and I completely agree with you. If you throw your Kickstarter out at the wrong time, it doesn't mean that it needs to come out at a certain time. It's just that sometimes you pick the wrong time. It has nothing to do with anything else. Yeah.
Don't do a Kickstarter in the fall around Christmas. I would say between October until the end of December, don't do a Kickstarter. I did this one in October, being like, oh, it's close to Halloween. People are in Halloween mood. Sure, no.
The funny thing is that you would have to have done it in September.
Right, leading up to October.
Probably would be better, but I just didn't have it ready then. I'm an artist. We do everything last minute.
I know.
That's true.
That's what we do.
Yeah. But I had done, Dr. Plagueland was done, I think around February, and it did great. I probably put more into promoting Halloween Cat than I did Dr. Plagueland. And
isn't that funny?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I know what I could do better, and it didn't matter. Just bad timing. And I think the first Kickstarter I did for Barrito, I did in November, December, and like I got lucky, but it like just barely eked out funding, and I definitely underestimated it as well. So I said, you got to do the math ahead of time, otherwise you're paying out of pocket, and that's what I did with my first one.
I also think that what happens sometimes is that you get lost. It's not even that you didn't do a good job. It's just you get lost in the flood of other Kickstarters, or the algorithm decides that it doesn't want to show your stuff to anybody, so nobody knows it's there. Because I've had people go, oh, when's your Kickstarter coming? I'm like, my Kickstarter's done. It's finished.
Well, you got to fight with the algorithm of social media and then the algorithm of Kickstarter too.
Oh, both, yeah. Because Kickstarter will sometimes bury you completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then sometimes like random things just get like promoted and they get ridiculously funded. You don't really know. But one of my big mistakes with Kickstarter was when I did the like when I was setting it up, I didn't set up extra for shipping. I just assumed they would charge shipping separately, but they don't. So I ended up having to pay for shipping.
Oh no!
Yeah. Oh wow. That's a big hit. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like at least $10 each times however many backers.
I find like a lot of people started doing was like just plugging in the shipping into the product as it is, and then they go free shipping.
Yeah. That's like the Etsy business model of like raise all your prices so they think it's free. but yeah, the toy thing is like that's not particularly profitable. I just think it's fun.
Isn't that what it is? It's all the passion, again. Sure. It's like what we were saying earlier. Nobody's doing Kickstarters to make money.
I mean, according to the guy who does my taxes, I don't do anything to make money. I make negative money every year, and I've been doing it for a long time.
Don't worry about it. My tax guy is always like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Pretty much.
You know, you can't have a loss for this many years. I'm like,
No matter how good I do with the business, I always owe Uncle Sam $6,000. Like,
ooh, that's amazing.
no matter what.
And it's so funny because we put so much money into these things, and you figure that means something, but no, not to Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I think with all the stuff between Kaiju Brooklyn and 5 Points, I've easily thrown in like 3,000 right there, probably.
And of course, you're doing 5 Point this weekend on Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We love 5 Point here. It's an amazing convention.
And it's my favorite.
It's different. You know, let me ask you, Jeff, how is 5 Point different?
I always describe 5 Points to somebody who's never heard of 5 Points as take my favorite parts of New York Comic Con. And my favorite parts of New York Comic Con was Artist Alley. And then they used to have a section called The Block, which I don't think they do anymore, which was designer toys and stuff like that.
They have it, but it's not what it used to be.
I think Clutter doesn't. Clutter used to curate it, and then once they started doing 5 Points, I think they got offended. And so,
that sounds like New York Comic Con.
So The Block mixed with Artist Alley is what 5 Points Fest is, and I think for someone like me who's also an artist, like you just walk around and get inspired. You're gonna see weird stuff you've never seen before, as far as art goes, and like it's truly modern art. Like this art was created like the week before, or in my case, tomorrow when I have a break at work.
Is snogging guaranteed at this festival?
Is what?
Drinking and snogging.
Yeah.
You know, there should be an asterisk.
That's friendly.
There should be an asterisk under snogging because I don't think.
You haven't witnessed any snogging at the festival?
I'm not going to say
snogging.
I'm just going to say it's a minority.
I gotta agree with them. It's usually a couple or two that.
We'll keep an eye out.
There's plenty of beer, and they craft the beer, and it has special artistic covers on the beer.
Yeah,
so
someone
that's
was
pretty good.
telling me that people. I don't drink personally, but there are people who go to 5 Points specifically for the beer.
Yeah.
Because it is like a limited edition flavor, and or they're collectors of beer.
The art.
And people will sell beer.
Well, that too, but the cans of art for them is specific to 5 Point.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they have like 5 different artists did can art.
It's amazing, and I gotta say, like, it always feels like a psychedelic experience, as you can tell from the flyer over here.
Yeah,
and it has
a lot of colors and everything. Just
definitely. It has so much different things, and it's so much fun. You know, the graffiti battles and oh my god.
Yeah, last year I was right in front of the like battle art stuff, and it was like pretty cool to see some of these come together.
Oh wow!
There's that one dude, Dragon. What's Dragon 74? He's got a number. I don't want to get it wrong. I think it's Dragon 74. There he is, that guy right there with the monkey. That dude is like a ringer. Like if you're battling that dude, just like go home. Like
don't even show up. Just like you're good. You're done. Yeah.
He's doing shading. It's like, how are you doing this? Yeah, he's insanely like that.
It's always amazing to watch them, you know. And I grew up with these guys, and it's still amazing.
The talent that they have to do that kind of art is just insane.
And those panels are big. They're probably like 6.5 feet tall.
Wow. Yeah. Damn.
So it's like I could draw on a page, but I can't draw like a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And they have kaiju battles.
Yes, kaiju big battles coming back this year.
Wow.
Last year they did it throughout the day, but I think it's just at night this time.
Oh, so they're doing that. Oh, yeah, I can see that now. Special event right there.
They just announced it earlier this week because they were supposed to do the Designer Toy Awards Saturday night.
Oh, that's right. That's what they usually do, right?
In the past, it's been a couple of years.
I was going to say, because I don't remember them doing it last year. I know that I've been going to 5 Point for a long time, and I remember that was a whole special event by itself.
Yeah, because they would do, it was like the after party almost at 5 Points, but I think they stopped doing it as an after party in like 2019, probably just because of everything. But I remember the first Designer Toy Awards was during New York Comic Con, and it was like an after party for New York Comic Con, and there was like free food and stuff. And I went for that.
As you can see here, they got the paint fights.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be going on through all day Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna have artists fighting each other with these two big canvases, and they're gonna be spray painting right in front of everybody.
Yeah, they paint at the same time, and then they do like a, you know, everyone who's in the area will cheer.
We know RZP, so I'm interested to see what he does. He's amazing.
But everybody wins because in the end, there's two things created.
Dude, yeah, you got to see what everybody wins because this art they usually finish. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to give somebody, like, the winner used to get a wrestling belt. I don't know if they
Yeah.
still do that. Because I remember J Corp won the first year, and she got the belt, and I was like, she was walking around with it the following year, and I was like, you need to defend your belt. She's like, no.
That'd be messed up if you got to defend your belt.
Yeah, no, you're kind of disqualified.
I'm like, this is my belt. Nobody's taking my belt.
Like, no, man, you get
Buy a new one.
No. But no, they didn't do it that way.
It's just an amazing event. It's different, and I think that's what I like so much about it. It's a different event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it used to be more of a toy event, and it's become something else.
Well, originally they had some comic book stuff too.
Oh, it always has comic book stuff.
First year, but yeah, it's definitely toy focused. It's a lot like Designer Con.
Mm-hmm.
On the West Coast, it's like the East Coast Designer Con.
Oh, it's just fun, folks. If you guys have a chance, go this weekend to 5 Point Festival. You guys will have some fun. If you like graffiti, if you like toys, if you like certain indie types of comics, you know, because I think your Riot Force will do great there.
Oh, totally. And you've got me thinking, how can I get there this weekend? Looks fun.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, it's one of those events that, like, I always try to do it because it's not that far from me. It's like an hour drive, but then, like, it's just fun to be around. Like,
that's the other part of it is the people there. It's a beautiful cacophony of meeting all these people that, you know, that they're your peers. These are the artists and people, you know, it's not, I feel like it's unlike other cons where you have, well, this guy, I know, this is like all your peers in one place.
Yeah, and there's definitely people, like, from doing it multiple years, like, you have, like, friends that you don't see normally unless you're at this convention. Like, I'm like, there's already 2 people I've hit up this week, like, yo, we're hanging.
Yeah, I already got a couple of Ralph, you're gonna be here, right? I'm like, oh my god, it's just so much fun. Austin, you've been hitting the convention circuit as well, right?
To some degree, yeah. You know, more and more as I have some current stuff to sell. I've done some stuff with the Mystery Volume 5, and when we have product for Riot Force, I'm gonna hit the circuit a little bit harder. But I've attended New York Comic Con the past couple of years. You know, that's where we've connected before, and you know, I miss it. I enjoy it. I've been out of it for a little while, but I'm looking forward to doing more.
And New York Comic Con is a beast.
Yeah.
I always tell people, do not make New York Comic Con your first con.
No.
God, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, go to smaller cons and work yourself up to.
But truly, I mean, you know, we were talking about some other bigger cons. You know, like I think the way that Artist Alley is structured at New York Comic Con is awesome because when people go into that space, they're there for the artists and the indie comics. You know, they're not there to get a free Tamagotchi or whatever. You know, like it's really concentrated, and so that's neat that they do that. When I first saw that was how it was structured, I was like, oh, they're kind of ghettoizing the Artist Alley, aren't they? No, that's good. That's good. Let the audience self-delegate.
As soon as you walk into Artist Alley, you know what you're in for. You know exactly what you're in for. And then
it's my favorite area too. I just want to go there. Like,
exactly.
I'm more into, like, some random dude who made a comic about a heavy metal duck than like another Avengers crossover.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I'm sure I bought it if it existed.
A good recommendation to you guys are, like, if you guys ever want to travel outside the New York area or wherever, like I've done a lot of fan expos, right? Fan Expo Philly and Fan Expo Boston are the ones closest. I've also done MegaCon. Now, a lot of those people, it's basically the same guy that runs the same show. And, like you have your vendors when you first walk in, but then you have Artist Alley, like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 rows, they're a little offset to the left. But in there's signs and Artist Alley come this way. And I feel like ones that I've been to, like I've seen more of that, which is fantastic because like I've worked with GalaxyCon. I did one, and guess what part of the convention center I was? All the way in the back. I didn't do bad, but that's not saying that other people around me did good. You know what I'm saying? Like you have like you guys say, right? Like you have Avengers, you have DC, you have all the big people, right? All right, like we're trying to get our creativity out there, and like give some love. And I've seen that at a lot of bigger cons that they're trying to do that to give everybody equal play. And I think that's the best thing to do on how to work a con, right? Or how to be a show manager and stuff. You're going to have your people that you're going to want your celebrities and stuff like that, right?
Sure.
But for the most part, there are people that travel, up and down Artist Alley to see someone making anime jewelry or some type of gaming or what you guys are doing, right? And that's what we
Discover
want.
something new. Yeah.
Right. We want to be seen, and like I'm not gonna lie, I've done a lot of different, cons. I probably got at least close to 50. It's got to be close to, right, Ralph? Just about.
At the point you are, yeah.
Yeah.
It came from the radio. Mark Torres here saying, but one could counter that separating Artist Alley away from the bigger companies may not be may be counterproductive. Yeah, he said maybe counterproductive. I think it works out both ways. It depends on what's going on and what we're doing and how they place the people. Because I've seen it where they'll place the people and they're not really trying to get you seen. It's more like they're over there.
Well, I can give an example of where that's not necessarily true. Like at 5 Points, there's certain artists that are very popular. They have their dedicated crowd. They will fly all over the country to go to these specific artists. I'm not going to name names, but like these people just go for that one artist, and so they're at a con for like 8 hours, and they're not walking around. They're not buying other stuff. They're waiting. They're hanging out and parking at that table because if they're not buying something from that person, they have their other friends who are just followers of that artist and just are there. So if you've got a table next to, across, down the
oh yeah, I've seen it.
You're getting no foot traffic because it's just blocked because these people are just so popular. And I think if someone like me was next to Marvel, like I'm just gonna have people in front of my booth. Like in a perfect world, you're like, oh, if they're going to see Marvel, they'll see me. But that's not how it works, really.
Sure.
So sometimes in an ideal situation, yes, but in practice, not really.
Yeah, because sometimes you think that. Sometimes you go, "Oh my God, look, I'm next to this person," but I've seen what happens is it's the problem is that sometimes their people block your table, so nobody sees you anymore because they all think that that's all one thing.
No, and like the people that are in that line will see you, but they don't care because they're just in line to buy something else.
Because I've seen it before where somebody's looking for somebody, and they can't find them. And they're like, "Well, I was there. I didn't see you." I'm like, "Well, that's because this long line of people was blocking my way."
That could hurt. That could hurt too. That could, yeah.
If no one's able to see your table for like an hour, that's that's a lot.
I think that's why some
Perfect
places,
solutions.
yeah, I think that's why some places started doing that thing where, especially with certain tables, they will give you a break. They either the artist will go somewhere, or there'll be a moment when they're not there anymore, where then the crowd isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Time drops. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like New York Comic Con did a pretty good job of, when there was a lineup, they kept it away from the other tables. They put it around the end cap or whatever it was.
Yeah, they've gotten really good at it, because in the beginning they were not good at it. But, now the crowd control on those lines is beautiful. There's times where they have a long line and it doesn't block you anymore.
Nice.
Totally.
Well, I think you want to give the love to everybody, and then just especially more people in Artist Alley, which is people with their own creative content. I mean, and then like you guys said, like, you don't want to have people blocking it, and that's kind of unfair to the regular artist that doesn't have a backing. And it's just like, I mean, you guys are going to be annoyed. You want to get it out there to the public, and hey, check this out. And when you have your consumers go, and if one other table is blocking it, and then they're not going to even know you're there. I've never experienced that, but I can't imagine myself being very happy with that.
It's annoying. I've definitely experienced it.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I know that you do the pins.
Yeah.
And I can tell you're beginning to branch out into other things, especially from the conversation we had at Kaiju Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So is that the idea? You're gonna start going in certain directions, maybe do like a little book or do a little something, or do you feel like your pin is the love of your life?
No, I think the pins are a gateway. They're like, pins are easy to get made. You could charge $10 to $12 for them. It's not a big investment. Whereas like a big toys, like you want to charge $200 for a toy out of the gate, it's probably a hard sell. Now might be a good time to come out with some exclusive info. So I've been working on this one pin design a little while ago, and it just moved. So yeah, I dropped it on the ground.
It's live.
This is live TV, folks. Live TV.
They're jumping off the shelves.
Woo! That's how hot it is.
Okay.
Woo! It's my favorite one.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just a loaf of bread that says cat loaf, and it's got a cat face. And so I was talking with somebody who I knew who works with like distribution for some of my pins, and I was like, "Oh, do you think you'd want to like distribute this?" And he's like, "This character's got potential." And I was like, "Oh, a friend of mine, me and him are working on like a sculpted version of it." And he's like, "You should develop that." So we had some. I got this right here. So this is another thing I've never shown anybody yet.
Here we go.
If all goes well, I will have a couple for 5 Points Fest. But so we have a sculpt, and being a packaging designer for toys professionally, I made a booster card.
Woo!
That's cool.
That's great.
Cat loaf, and you can see you got the
Look at the
little cat loaf.
Oh, there it is.
And I made a double blister.
Nice.
This is the prototype, and then I'm developing a blind box series with a bunch of different colorways of cat loaf.
Is there a pistachio loaf in there?
We've got.
I see a Wonder Loaf.
Yeah, it's a Wondar. There's a whole wheat, white bread, raisin, sourdough, marble rye, cheeseburger, and moldy.
Oh, that's
That's
amazing.
great, man.
So all of these have been like spec'd out, like waiting on a quote from the factory. Supposedly there's retail interest. So that's in the future. Nothing's certain yet. And as of, 3 hours ago, I just got these in the mail.
Oh,
I made my first
that's pretty
keychain,
cool.
Oh my God, look at that.
and it's rubbery. Like it's a
Oh,
rubber
nice.
keychain. And they came out fun. I haven't posted this at all yet because I just got them.
That looks fun.
Yeah.
That looks
So I'll
cool.
have these at 5 points as well. And
I gotta say, for a minute there, it looks so good that it's so stuffy that it looks like it was a stuffy. Of course, I love your
got
cat.
some dimension to it, like what
Yeah.
they did with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, let's just do it 2D, and they're like, let's do it 3D, and I was like, kinda okay. Like, I just wanted to look cool. But yeah, so I've been, when I met with some people, they were like, oh, keychains might be good, and I was like, sure. Turned out my
Keychains are
cat
big.
people can make keychains, so I just was reordering the cat, and I was like, you know what? Let's throw a keychain on that order. So these guys came today, and they'll be at 5 points. But I've had the black cat for a while, but it's back now.
Love the cat.
Yeah.
That's one of the pins I got at Kaiju.
Yeah, that was an old one of those crappy paper Halloween decorations, and I just sort of tweaked it and kind of made it my own.
It does have a nostalgic feel to it.
Yeah. Another thing I'm working on for 5 points. So like I mentioned before, I work at a toy company, and we'll get samples of things, and then they just end up in the free bin if nobody needs them. And I found a bunch of these little blue skateboards.
Cool. Oh, that's
So
cool.
for me, I'm like, I'm going to make a skateboard graphic for this.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
like a
wow.
Paul Peralta
I'll put you up. Oh, look at that.
Don't worry.
That's cool.
Man, I
And then
remember
was like,
when
well, what can I do with
braided trademarked brand company made skateboards that we could play with.
Oh, I remember those.
Oh, like tech. But so I was like, what can I do with it? And I had this one prototype of a red and black Dr. Plagueland. And I was like, well, now it's kind of to scale with him.
Uh-oh.
Kind of. And then I was like, wait, it fits inside.
Oh, nice.
So I could package it. So
that's cool.
Sitting next to me, I've got
A lot of them.
Exclusive, unpainted still. And it's in 2 days. But
Oh, it's fun.
the skater died.
Now the people can skate down to the thing, causing death and mayhem.
Yeah, so this one I actually posted a picture today of that, so that's been announced. But yeah.
Oh, it's too much fun.
But yeah, I think with the pins you get used to. Okay, I can make something. I know how to sell it. I know how to ship it. Just make more stuff.
And pins are people just love pins. I remember when they first kicked off, and I was like, okay, 'cause I liked the pins from before that. But then it blew up. It was big, and there was pins everywhere. And you were like, it was hard to get before.
Well, I grew up like in the punk scene and stuff like that, so we always had like buttons and pins and stuff like that, and it was like not weird. And I would go to thrift stores and buy like those like military pins, and like I didn't know what they really meant, but like I was like, well, there's a skull with wings, sure, it's cool. It's going on my leather jacket, but it probably meant like I don't know, Air Force. I don't know. But like, I'd always just get those because they were cool. And then I worked with a guy who was making pins, and I was like, how the hell do you make pins? And he gave me somebody, and it just kind of exploded from there. I was like, I can make these? Yeah, I'm gonna make a ton of them.
I feel like it's so much fun now to see things that, because sometimes you'll just see the same pins over and over and over, but it's so much fun to see pins that you don't usually see, which is one of the fun things when I got to your table. It was stuff that I don't usually see.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people will, for a while, I don't know if they still do, they'll just, trace a Simpson character or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, the Godzilla stuff's like fun. I just released this one. I'll take it out of the bag so it doesn't glare. It's the pickle Cupid. The Cupid doll with a jar of pickles. I don't know. I really like Cupid dolls and I really like pickles. So
that's a great combination.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no connection in any way other than I like Cupid dolls and pickles. So I made a pickle Cupid.
But that's the fun of it. I feel like you're looking at something. It's the same thing as Austin. You're looking at this thing he's created, and you're trying to find like a place where it fits, and you're like, no, this is something else. This is unique. This may be similar to something, but there is nothing like this.
Yeah, I mean, Cupid was based on like an old like vintage Valentine that I'd found, and I just put it, instead of a heart in its arms, I put a pickle jar.
Awesome.
If
you don't, who will?
Exactly. The best is like people will see like this one. This is another one I did that's not related to anything. I was just doodling this like cave door.
Oh yeah.
Some spooky eyes and a hand.
That's pretty cool.
That's what
pretty
my
cool.
like
cat
that.
looks like on the way to the vet.
Yeah.
But like somebody at Kaiju Brooklyn was like, "Oh, what's that from?" And I was like, "My brain."
Dude,
Just
that looks
do
so
it.
D&D, man.
Yeah, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a little bit like there's a tattoo artist.
Oh, definitely.
Pigs, like it's a bit pigs. It's a bit Dungeons and Dragons. Like
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just something I was I was doodling the eyes at some point, and then I was like, well, they need to go somewhere, and I drew the cave door with the steps, and here we are.
Yeah.
Haven't sold any, but here they are.
That is so much fun.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's easy to like make it of something that people will know, but then it's fun to get weird too.
Isn't that the whole reason we do what we do? It's because we get to do what we want to do instead of doing what other people want us to do.
Right, it's the creativity and the love for it,
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, Austin. This is the first time you're doing your own Kickstarter. What do you feel the differences between doing somebody else's Kickstarter and doing your own Kickstarter?
There's a sort of weight of responsibility that, if I'm not doing something right this second, nothing's getting done. When you're part of a bigger project or something, you sort of know that sometimes you've got the ball, sometimes they've got the ball, and it's a team effort. With this one, it's just kind of like, well, we're gonna see. It's either gonna be a referendum on the ability of my property to sell itself or my inability as a salesperson. So
Well, you got funded right away, so you just have to sit back now for like a month.
yeah.
Hard part's done because when mine was going, I was like, "Oh, I'm such a failure. This is terrible. What am I doing with my life?" And that was like that for a month. Like with Dr. Plague when being funded in 2 days, I was just like, "Cool."
I got to tell you, folks, it is an amazing feeling when a creator can sit back, especially like you, Austin, 8 hours. Dude, that means that it doesn't mean that Austin's gonna be lazy. It just means that Austin can go, it's funded. Now I can actually pay attention to the rest of the campaign.
Right. Yeah. It changes the nature of the, what you're going to do for the next couple of weeks is.
It's a weight off your shoulders.
Yep.
Yeah. You can, it changes your pitch. You can say, this is definitely happening. If you want to get the thing, this is the time.
Exactly.
Now it's like I'm helping you. It's taken on a life of its own, and I can just sort of let you know it's happening.
Exactly. Because now it's a pre-order.
Yeah, exactly.
You're pre-ordering.
Although you can't say pre-order when you're doing a Kickstarter, apparently.
Oh no, they get pissed off. Yeah.
Yeah, they kicked my project back initially because I had in my video from an earlier iteration pre-order now, and they're like, no, we don't say pre-order on Kickstarter. It's not a pre-order.
I didn't realize that. I've never had one rejected, so I didn't know what they would reject. That's strange.
Yeah. Huh. Don't say pre-order.
I guess I guarantee it's getting made if it doesn't fund.
Right.
That's the whole thing. I feel like
it's kind of semantics, but whatever.
With Kickstarter,
with
Kickstarter, what they're trying to do is they're trying to protect themselves because what ends up happening with some of the projects is that they never see the light of day.
Right.
Yeah, that happened too.
Yeah.
So
Kickstarter likes to drag it into your head that you may not see this. It may not happen.
Right.
It's not on us. It's on them.
Exactly.
This is philanthropy. This is wish buying. Not. It's not a store. They make a point of saying that because there's obviously still some obstacles along the way. With anything like this, it's not a well-oiled machine. It's a startup.
There's also like weird situations where I've known Kickstarters that do so well that they can't do the fulfillment anymore. So then they need to hire a fulfillment warehouse.
Yeah.
And that's done. That wasn't in the budget,
Right.
It gets ridiculously funded and and there was somebody who did, it was like kind of like when fidget spinners were big, they did like a fidget cube. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that got like ridiculously funded. And they were one of the people who had to get like a fulfillment service. But in the meantime of them getting them made, funded, whatever. Like some companies saw that it was doing really well and just developed it and made it and had it to market before they
Oh,
get them.
Wow.
Oh no!
Wow.
It's like some company
That's
in
messed
China
up.
was just like, oh, we know how to do that.
That
Yeah.
is messed up.
I know, yeah. Because I mean, when they were showing it, they were like, "Here's what this side does. Here's what this," and they're showing all the features like you would normally do. But like somebody was just like, "Okay, okay, yep."
And I've seen that a couple times where you know, like you see a project on Kickstarter, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, and a week later somebody else has it already.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! Brutal.
I've seen it with some D&D dice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know, you're like, oh my god, this is a great idea. And somebody goes, that is a great idea. We can get
I
that.
can't believe I didn't think of it.
Right.
Wait, maybe I did.
And then where you might need funding to get it made, someone else may be able to just be getting it made.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it just
But it's always a risk.
that's not cool though. That's definitely not cool. You know.
Can you patent something pre-Kickstarter to that point?
You can patent anything before you go to Kickstarter. It just costs money, and it's
Sure.
annoying.
Takes time. What's up, everyone? By the way,
Hi.
Hey Shadow, how you doing?
What's going on?
I'm good. I just ain't gonna interrupt anyone.
No.
Howdy.
For you folks out there keeping track of the score here, Shadow and Nathan have joined us. Nathan's still at his dinner table because he's probably home from work.
Yeah,
And Shadow decided to come and visit.
because Lou is daddy.
Oh man, folks! Besides all this beautiful stuff this weekend, we also have Brooklyn Comic Con that's happening on the same weekend. It is, I think they have a new location for it. It's
It
not
is.
an old location.
Nope.
How far is it from 5 Points Fest? Could people do both?
It was closer before, now it's farther.
Oh man.
Well,
I'm
now
right,
it's
right now?
at, I'm forgetting where it is, but it's one of the sports centers next to Empire Boulevard and both the Botanic Garden and Prospect Park.
Yeah, it's like deeper Brooklyn, if I remember
Yeah.
right.
Well,
I think
Zero Space seems like it's in the middle
It's
of nowhere. to me.
on Union, and I can't remember the name.
As you see all the beautiful stuff here, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the post they did with the new location.
With
But as you
actual
can see,
info.
I was going to say, as you can see, they have guests galore. A lot of
A
cosplayers.
lot of cosplayers.
A lot of cosplayers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the location for you.
You found it?
Major R. Owens Wellness Center.
There you go. That's exactly it. Yeah, that sounds familiar. This convention is a blast. It's like a party and a half. There's comics, there's cosplayers, there's a little bit of everything there, and they have wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have kaiju wrestling, but I'm guessing they got to keep a little separate here.
Guys, you think that was on the book right there.
Last year it was so funny because they had the wrestling going at the same time. Had it in the back,
It was loud.
and oh, here we go. There you go. Oh, that's big.
It's like a soccer stadium.
That is big. So you have it, folks. This is where it's going to be at the Major R. Owens Community Center, Brooklyn Comic Con. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Whoa, Mario Kart.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
cool. Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
There is so much fun happening at Brooklyn Comic Con. So you guys have a choice. You guys have, depending on what you want to do, where you want to go, you have a good choice this weekend for different things. I always wonder why both conventions are on the same weekend because this is the second time they are. But they're two totally different conventions. If you're looking for a more artsy, fun, beer, graffiti type of thing, then you got yourself 5 Point with all the toys and all the beautiful stuff. And if you're looking for comics and cosplay and a party atmosphere, you got yourself Brooklyn Comic Con.
Or both.
Or both. That's the beautiful thing because they're both in Brooklyn. You can hit one up and then go to the other one.
Or one day, one another day.
Yeah.
That too. I know some folks that will hit the same convention in one day. What we're doing is we're going to be at Brooklyn Comic Con on Saturday, and on Sunday we will be at 5 Point Festival. Because we've been invited to both, so we are going to both.
Why not?
It's going to be a fun weekend, folks. Go have some fun. Go and do a con. Go enjoy the geekdom. Put some money into the indies, into the cons, into folks. You want something to do this weekend? We got stuff for you to do. Go. Oh man, this is going to be a busy weekend.
I'm going to be standing in one spot for 3 days.
Austin, what'd you say?
I was just going to say that's one of the great things about big cities. When I lived in Toronto, it was sort of the same thing where there's always something. You're spoiled for choice. That's so cool.
Dude, last weekend at Kaiju Brooklyn, Industry City, that was a party and a half.
I bet.
Oh my God, it was nonstop. Dude, you guys only got a break at the end of it when you finally the crowd started to finally dissipate.
Yeah, I didn't get to see any of the other things going on. I know there were panels and the cosplay contest. I saw the people walking around, but I didn't see the contest. Like, there was a lot outside of that vendor room area too. Yeah, it was awesome. That was like, because I was talking with John, who set it up, like a while ago. I just know him, so we were chatting about it, and I was like, you figure like 5 Points Fest, it's like, oh, there's kaiju stuff there, but it's just toys. And then it's like, well, there's the anime cons in the area, and that's maybe it's people like that. And he was saying not really. So with Kaiju Brooklyn, I think it really just tapped into something that was missing. Like there were people who like knew everything about everything, and I was like, okay, like kids knew everything about Ultraman, and I was like, how? But yeah, I think it was awesome. I think they're definitely doing a third for sure.
Yeah, they were talking about it during too. So. But you're right though. It feels like a different beast.
Yeah. It was a totally different vibe from 5 Points too. Like it was. I was kind of surprised because I was like, oh, it's just going to be the same people for next like 2 weeks. It's like, no, there definitely won't be.
Dude, it was one of the conventions that I can actually say you don't see the same people from the other conventions. No, at all. Like there's a cross between some of the other conventions, but no.
There was a guy who came from Washington State for it, which is it's really far.
I'm surprised that it took anybody this long to do a kaiju centered convention, because what they usually do is just throw it into another convention. It's like, look, we got kaiju
with anime stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think there's like what is it, G-Fest, G-Con, the Godzilla convention, but I think that's in like the Midwest, like Chicago area.
They're rare and far in between, and sometimes you got to travel for them.
Yeah, this is New York. You should have everything. So
you figure with the the monsters destroying New York as many times as they have, it just makes sense.
Right.
They owe us.
Exactly. Oh man. So Austin, let's do the wrap up here and tell the people all about your stuff again so they can go check it out. Riot Force looks fantastic. Go for it.
All right. So Riot Force is a action comedy spectacular. It's a 300-page full color single edition graphic novel. It's a complete story front to back, and it's offered here in its entirety for the first time. This Kickstarter is going to be the first place ever you can get a Kickstarter exclusive wraparound cover that's going to be different from the bookstore edition. There's a bunch of extra goodies that will be part of the campaign if you are in on the ground floor here and helping make it happen. This is a passion project that I've been working towards my whole life as a creative professional and a storyteller, and I'm really excited about how it turned out, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. So please go by, take a look at it. If it seems like your kind of thing, or maybe the thing of someone that share it around.
Exactly, folks, because sharing is caring, and the more you share it, the better it is. It sounds like it's not doing anything, but folks, sometimes you may not want the project, but somebody on your list may want that project.
Exactly.
And I got to say, one of my favorite things here is looking at the little Dirk Manning.
I know, I saw that. I'm like, huh.
Dirk, he's a backer. I'm like, all right.
Little dog whistle. He says
so
hi.
there you have it, folks. It's Dirk Manning approved. When you were doing your live when you funded and Dirk was in the chat as well, it was a blast. Yeah, but he's very supportive. Dirk is an amazing guy. And Riot Force is something you guys will want to check out. So go check it out. All right, Mr. Jeff, your turn.
Yeah, so this weekend, as we mentioned, I'll be at 5 Points Fest all weekend. I'm going to have lots and lots of pins, patches, stickers. I'm going to finish painting these Dr. Plaguewins before then. I'm going to cross my fingers that Cat Loaf is ready. I'm going to cross my fingers that I get test pulls of this, but I'll have the painted prototype. Going to have the new Cat Loaf keychain. We got patches. We got lots of pins. We got new pins, old pins, lots of pins. I'll be there trying to stay hydrated and making sure that I sit down and take pictures with friends. Everything on the 5 Points Fest, go to bxebuttons.com. You can follow us on Instagram at bxebuttonsxstaciamade. You can follow me personally at Bleeding Edges. If you want to listen to my band, we're on Spotify. We're called Wallbreaker.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
That's all I can promote right now.
Dude, it's amazing. Of course, if you want to see him in person, go check him out at 5 Points Festival. It's a blast. It is art. It's actually breathing art. I think that's what I'm going to call 5 Point Festival now. It's breathing art.
Breathing
Art breath?
Art breath. I like art breath.
Art breath.
Ooh, art breath. Oh my God. Dude, this is going to be a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Jeff. And most likely I'm going to be buying my my little pin of your nice loaf there.
Yeah. It's going to be big.
There he goes.
Going places with this guy. What's funny is it was just kind of a throwaway design I did for something, and one of my friends saw it and he like freaked out, and I was like, okay, I guess we're on to something.
Well, you know what it is. You have a lot of cat lovers out there, and when it comes to cat loaf and cat lovers, that's all you need to do.
Yeah,
No, that's gonna fit right in 100%.
And my stepson would always like if the cat's like sitting in like that little pose like this, he'd like rate that loaf out of 10. Like that was like our thing. Like we'd rate the cat's loaf. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, cat people do that. They go, is that a perfect loaf? Is that a half loaf? Is that a
Yeah, I've got one cat that did great loaves, the other one not so good.
Oh man. Mr. Frank, you've been a nice little guest host there. Go tell the people what you're doing, what's going on. Go tell them all the beautiful stuff. Go for it.
Sure. Might as well start with that one since that's a new one. I'll be at what is it? Kelly Bailey Convention Center in Dallas, Texas for Fan Expo. First
This
time.
weekend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this weekend. My flight's actually 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Unlike the people of Marvel, we actually have real jobs too.
We got to pay for the dream, folks. We got to pay for the dream.
Exactly. So I'll be down there. Might be dead tired from my air flight, but it's the first time that I'm really going in that part of the country. Kind of, this year's been all over, and Fan Expo's been a really good provider, and they've really developed my brand. So I gotta always say kudos to them. I got one in Chicago. I'm doing that one as well. I've done 5 Fan Expos, so they definitely given me the love. So I always try to give it back. But Cody Cobb is it's a military project gone wrong and falls in the wrong hands, and it gets reprogrammed to go after people that were this one guy Stryker that got court-martialed. So because he got court-martialed, kind of reprograms it to go after the people that, well, get the idea, kind of Jason Bourne kind of like, and obviously, with that, comes with a lot. Going down to Dallas with something like that, military area, kind of
I
might
gotta
have.
say, I feel like you're going into the right area for this.
Oh, definitely, and you can buy that. That's also available on my website, frankdistefanoauthor.com, and then the other one is the Dark Legend of the Foreigner, which kind of grew my name. Oh, thanks, bud. And there's the two books, the first one and the second one. So I'll have both of those in Dallas as well. And I don't expect to come home with any, to be honest with you. Fantasy, science fiction. So right up the alley for a fan expo or a Comic-Con. Anybody that loves anybody, usually I do very well with them at the fan expos or just wherever I go with them. So whether it's Long Island, whether it's Philadelphia, Boston, Orlando, I'm sure I'll be fine in Dallas. They definitely the covers definitely strike an interesting pose and draws people in, and so I'm looking forward to meeting the new fans I'll be creating down in the Dallas in Dallas area. All the fans where I go have always been great to me. So kudos to the fans that I created and the ones that I'll be creating.
And folks, go check them out. If you're in Texas, she would bring you stuff for Texas too. So go check them out in Texas, and you'll have a lot of fun at Fanfare Dallas, Fan Expo Dallas. There you go, Fan Expo Dallas. And go say hi to Frank DeStefano.
It's going to be a great time. Exactly. I gotta go eat. I gotta find a good pulled pork place down there. You know that.
Okay, finding that there.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
It's going to be brisket in Dallas
there, probably.
And Mexican food. That's what you want to go for there.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Thank God I like both of those. So,
And of course, Mr. Shadow Man is over here in the shadows doing his thing. But Shadow Rabbit is amazing at making things. He makes dreams into realities because he puts all these little clay figures into making your dreams come true.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't even looking for a shout out tonight, but I appreciate it.
Dude, how far along are you with this dragon now?
I kind of had to start working on some other stuff people want me to do, but I got them. Yeah.
Oh wow,
I got the skeleton for him made at least.
That's really that's cool.
Scale is amazing.
Oh, definitely. Lewis never ceases to amaze me.
Thanks, bro.
As you can see. Yeah, so folks, if you need a commission from Mr. Shadow Rabbit, you can tell him what you want him to do, and then pay him some money, and he'll make your dreams come true.
I mean, it's kind of an ominous way to put that, but yeah, I mean,
do I
know what I'm
pay
doing.
you if I know where you live?
I know what I'm
I
doing.
like making new friends, you know. What can I say?
I know exactly what I'm doing.
Lou, do I still need to pay you if I know where you live?
I mean, this thing is live, so temper my response.
I'll show up in front of your doorstep.
And
I'm
of
going
course,
back on mute.
of course, our friend Matta Sorcier is not feeling well today, but she is still here in the ghost form, and we will talk about Saccaroni, which she does all on her own. She is the artist, the writer, the letterer, she does everything, folks. you know. And one of my favorite lines from her is that she does all this stuff, and when she does these projects, she's not even able to pay herself, because you know that's a lot of jobs. If I don't know if you guys know, but Kickstarter, making a comic is a lot of hard work, especially if you're doing everything. So folks, go check out Sacrimony. It's a beautiful piece. I'm telling you, I read this thing and I was yelling at the book because, you know, she does a great job at writing this story and making you care about these characters, and you're sitting there going, why are you doing that? So go check out Sacrimony. She does beautiful art. It's all amazing. She's doing pretty well. She's at 3,870. She's already funded. She has 9 days to go. Come on, folks. Let's get her to 4,000, maybe 5,000. Come on. And I think that is everything. Mr. Nathan, do we got anything else?
Too many Kickstarters to count.
That sounds like the usual thing.
Yep. There's just a lot of them this week. You got people like Pat Shan throwing up like 3 comics. You got
Pat Shan always has one.
I said 3, sir, not 1. Our friends Kat Calamia has a book going on. I believe there's at least 2 other people with Kickstarters going on right now. Cul-de-sac is also coming down to its last week.
Wait a minute. I thought he was supposed to come on to the show.
Huh.
I got to talk to somebody. Okay.
Special show tomorrow because they only have less than a week.
Well, if he has time for Monday or Wednesday, then he can show up on Monday or Wednesday.
Less than a week.
Wait,
not a full week. It is like less than a week. They started before Mata.
Oh, wow.
And not doing too hot.
Yeah. Okay. All right, go ahead, keep going.
I'm gonna just leave it there because it's a lot. Our friends at Bag Bug has like 2 comics going on as well. SourcePoint has a comic. Like there's a lot still going on.
Oh yeah, and folks, Phil Russert is kicking off Tragedy 6 tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow it will kick off Tragedy 6. He has an amazing amount of talent on this book. Go check out his Kickstarter is Phil Russert with Phil Publishing, and it's Tragedy number 6. Go check it out, especially because it kicks off tomorrow. So you know, just watch your Facebook. You'll see Phil pop up sooner or later. And of course, Shadows decided to show himself for a minute there, and he's over there making his beautiful pieces. I forget.
Good Goku getting beat.
Folks, I think that's everything. And on this show, when it ends, I just press the button, and where it stops,